Marcus Richmond's champagne glass exploded against the marble column. Red wine sprang like blood across white roses. "Get her out!" He lunged toward the Rolls Royce, his face twisted with rage. "She wasn't supposed to! She doesn't belong!" But Maya Johnson was already stepping onto the red carpet in an emerald gown that caught the sun like fire. Behind her, 3 little black girls in silk and gold emerged, their flower crowns glowing, their eyes wide with innocence. His daughters, the ones he denied, the ones he told everyone didn't exist. 300 wedding guests gasped. His bride went white. His mother's scream caught in her throat. Because the poor, pathetic woman he'd invited to humiliate had just arrived in a limousine worth more than his soul. Drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories reach across America. And if you believe karma is real, hit that subscribe button right now. This story is just getting started, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. To understand how a woman shows up to her ex-husband's wedding in a Rolls Royce with 3 daughters he abandoned, you need to understand where it all began. 12 years earlier, University Library, 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Maya looked up from her architecture textbook to find a man standing over her table. Tall, expensive watch. The kind of confidence that came from never being told no. "You're in my spot." She glanced around the empty library. "Find another one." "I've sat at that table every night for 2 years." "Congratulations. Tonight, you're sitting somewhere else." Marcus Richmond blinked. Then he laughed, genuinely surprised. "I'm Marcus." "I'm studying." "What's your name?" "Why do you need to know?" "Because I'm going to marry you." Maya had looked at him then. Really looked. "You don't even know me." "I know you're the first person who didn't move when I asked." That's enough to start. He'd pulled out the chair across from her. Maya should have told him to leave, should have seen the red flags waving. But she was 21, working 3 jobs, invisible to everyone on campus, and exhausted of being nobody. When Marcus Richmond decided to see her, it felt like oxygen after drowning. 3 months later, he'd brought her home to meet his family. The Richmond estate sat on 40 acres in Old Money, Georgia. White columns, manicured lawns, the kind of wealth that whispered instead of shouted. Maya had worn her best dress, a navy blue number from Marshall's that she'd saved 3 weeks to buy. Constance Richmond had opened the door in pearls in judgment. "You must be Monica." "Maya." "Of course. Marcus has told us so little about you." Constance's smile was porcelain. "Come in. We're just finishing drinks." The dining room was all crystal and coldness. Marcus's father Harrison sat at the head of the table, his eyes calculating as Maya entered. Marcus's sister Caroline looked her up and down once and returned to her phone. "So, Maya," Constance began, cutting her fillet with surgical precision. "Marcus tells us you're studying architecture. How creative. And your people? What do they do?" "My people?" "Your family, dear." Maya felt Marcus tense beside her. "My mother's a pediatric nurse. My father passed when I was 12. "Oh." Constance dabbed her lips with a napkin. "How tragic. And you're financing your education how?" "Mother," Marcus started. "It's a fair question. I assume scholarships?" "Academic and track. Plus I work." "Work?" Constance repeated the word like it was foreign. "Where?" "3 places. Campus diner, hospital records, and I freelance graphic design." Harrison spoke for the first time. 3 jobs, while carrying a full course load. He set down his fork. "That's either admirable determination or poor time management." "It's survival, sir." "Survival." Harrison leaned back. "Marcus, didn't you mention the Patterson girl returned from Yale? Eleanor? Her father just closed that deal with—" "I'm not interested in Eleanor Patterson." Marcus reached for Maya's hand under the table. "I'm interested in Maya." Caroline looked up from her phone. "The Patterson girl has a trust fund and a law degree from Yale."
"What does Maya have?" The silence stretched like taffy. "She has me," Marcus said. Constance smiled. "Darling, you're 23. You'll inherit controlling interest in Richmond properties in 2 years. You need to think strategically. Partnerships matter. Breeding matters." Maya pushed back from the table. Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Richmond. Marcus, I'll wait in the car. She'd made it to the driveway before Marcus caught her.
Maya, wait. Your mother just asked about my breeding like I'm a horse. She's old-fashioned. She doesn't mean... Yes, she does. Maya turned to face him. I'm black, Marcus. I'm poor. I'm everything your family doesn't want. And you know what? That's fine. But I'm not going to sit there and be inspected like I'm not good enough. You are good enough. You're better than all of them. Then prove it. 6 months later, Marcus did. They got married at a small black church in Maya's neighborhood. Her mother and aunties crying happy tears, her cousins cheering, her community celebrating. The Richmonds didn't come. They sent a lawyer instead, with documents cutting Marcus off completely. No trust fund, no company position, no family financial support, the lawyer had read from a prepared statement. The Richmond family wishes you well, but cannot support this union. Marcus had torn up the documents. I don't need their money. I'll build my own fortune. They'd moved into a studio apartment in a neighborhood his family would never visit. Maya took a job as a medical billing clerk. Marcus launched his first startup with $5,000 she'd saved from her jobs. This is going to work, baby, he'd promised, kissing her forehead as she left for her 6 a.m. shift. 2 years. Give me 2 years and I'll buy you that house you keep sketching. Maya had believed him. Of course she'd believed him. She'd watched him work 18-hour days, seen his passion, witnessed his genius. When he'd needed $3,000 for a developer, she'd picked up weekend shifts. When he'd needed $5,000 for marketing, she'd sold her grandmother's engagement ring, the only valuable thing she owned. It's temporary, she'd told herself, eating ramen for the 4th night that week so Marcus could take potential investors to lunch. We're building something. His first startup failed in 8 months. Marcus had been devastated, pacing their tiny apartment at 3 a.m. I'm a failure, Maya. I'm nothing. You're not nothing. You're learning. She'd held him while he cried. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before the light bulb. You're just getting started. My family was right. I'm not cut out for this. Your family was wrong about everything, including you. Maya had pulled back to look at him. We try again. I believe in you.
So they'd tried again. Maya took a second job, overnight shifts at the hospital as a patient advocate. She'd sleep 4 hours a day, existing on coffee and determination. Marcus's second venture was an AI-driven real estate analytics platform. It was brilliant. It was innovative. It needed money. Maya had given everything. She'd missed her mother's 60th birthday because Marcus needed her to work a double shift the weekend of a crucial pitch. She'd stopped running track. No time, no energy. She'd stopped seeing friends, stopped doing anything that wasn't work or support. Baby, I need another 4,000, Marcus would say, and Maya would nod, opening another credit card. The tech team needs upgraded equipment, 6,000. And Maya would calculate which loan shark had the lowest interest rate. She'd watched her weight drop, her clothes hanging off her frame. Watched the circles under her eyes deepen. Watched her architecture dreams fade into something that felt like someone else's life. But she'd believed. God, she'd believed. Then Marcus's startup caught lightning. A venture capital firm invested $20 million. Overnight, Marcus Richmond became the tech entrepreneur everyone wanted to know. Bloomberg interviewed him. Forbes called him a visionary. Investors lined up with open checkbooks. And Marcus changed. It happened slowly at first. New clothes, designer labels Maya couldn't pronounce. A new watch, $40,000. A new car, Tesla, top model. You deserve it, Maya had said, even though their apartment was still small, still cramped, still temporary. We deserve it, he'd corrected. But he'd said it like an obligation, not a celebration. Then came the late nights. The business dinners he didn't invite her to. The company events where she felt like a ghost. Marcus, the holiday party's tonight. Should I meet you there? Actually, it's pretty corporate. Might be boring for you. I'd like to go. Support you. A pause. These people are VCs and tech executives, Maya. It's all industry talk. You wouldn't enjoy it. She'd stayed home. Seen the photos on social media later. Marcus in a tuxedo, surrounded by beautiful people in designer clothes. His arm around his new executive assistant, Jennifer, a polished woman with an MBA from Stanford. 3 months after the investment,
Marcus came home at midnight on their anniversary. "Sorry, baby, the meeting ran late." "I made dinner. It's cold now." He barely glanced at the table she'd set. "I already ate with the team. You should have texted." "It's our anniversary, Marcus." "Is it?" He'd checked his phone. "Oh, sorry. Things are crazy right now." "Things have been crazy for 3 years. I was there for all of it." "And I appreciate that, Maya. I do." He'd loosened his tie. Hermes, $2,000. But appreciation doesn't change reality. What reality? That we're in different places now. Maya had felt the floor shift. Different places? I'm meeting billionaires in boardrooms and you're... He gestured at her scrubs from the hospital. "You're still wearing that." "Because I worked a double shift to pay our rent while you were at dinner with your team." "Our rent that's $1,500 a month while I'm worth $50 million. His voice had risen. "Do you know how that looks? My investors ask where I live, and I have to tell them I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood they won't visit. Then move us somewhere better. I've been waiting for you to do that for 3 years. Us. Marcus had said the word like it was poison. That's the problem, isn't it? There's no us anymore. There's me building an empire, and there's you holding me back. The words had landed like bullets. Holding you back? I gave you everything. I worked 70-hour weeks so you could chase your dreams. I sold my grandmother's ring so you could pay your developers. I believed in you when your own family didn't. And I'm grateful, Maya, really. But gratitude doesn't make you the right partner for who I'm becoming." "Who you're becoming? You mean who you've always been? Someone who uses people and throws them away when they're not useful anymore?" Marcus had looked at her with eyes gone cold. "Maybe it's time we both accept we've grown apart." The divorce papers arrived 4 days later. Maya had stared at them in disbelief. "You're serious?" "I've already signed. Just needs your signature." "Marcus, we can work on this. We can talk." "There's nothing to talk about. It's over." "Just like that? After everything I did?" "What you did was 3 years ago, Maya. What have you done lately?" The question had broken something in her chest. "I loved you. I supported you. I believed in you." "Well, stop, because I'm done believing in us." His lawyers had been sharks. Maya couldn't afford proper representation. Every penny she'd saved had gone into Marcus's company. She'd shown up to court with a legal aid lawyer who looked fresh out of law school. Marcus had shown up with 3 attorneys in $1,000 suits. "Your Honor," Marcus's lead attorney had argued, "my client entered this marriage with significant family resources and business prospects. Miss Johnson brought nothing to the union. Mr. Richmond's success came entirely from his own innovation and hard work." Maya's lawyer had stood up. "Your Honor, Miss Johnson worked multiple jobs to fund Mr. Richmond's startup costs. Can she prove that? Where's the documentation? Where are the receipts showing her income went to his business?" Maya had watched her lawyer flounder. They had no documentation. Every penny had been given in cash, in love, in trust. Nothing was documented because she'd never imagined needing proof. The judge had ruled swiftly. No alimony, no asset division. The apartment was in Marcus's name only. The car was his. The bank account he'd emptied 3 months earlier was joint, so legally allowed. Maya walked out of that courtroom with her clothes, her laptop, and her 15-year-old Honda with 200,000 miles. She'd driven to Keisha's house in a fog. "He took everything, Keisha. Everything." Keisha had held her while she sobbed. "That man is going to regret this, Maya. I promise you." But promises felt like lies. Maya was 26, divorced, broke, and completely hollowed out. Then 2 weeks later, she'd missed her period. The pregnancy test was positive. Then another. Then a blood test at the free clinic. "You're pregnant," the doctor confirmed. "Based on your hormone levels, I want to do an ultrasound." The technician had moved the wand over Maya's belly, frowning at the screen. "Is something wrong?" Maya had asked, fear spiking. "Wrong? No, just surprising. You're having triplets." The room had spun. Triplets? 3 babies. See? 3 distinct heartbeats. Maya had stared at the screen, at 3 tiny beans pulsing with life, and felt panic crush her lungs. 3 babies. She could barely afford to feed herself. How was she going to raise 3 babies alone? She'd called Marcus from the parking lot. He'd answered on the 5th ring. "What, Maya?" "I need to tell you something. I'm pregnant." Silence. "Marcus?" "That's not my problem." "They're your children!"
Are they? How do I know that? You could have been sleeping with anyone. The accusation had stolen her breath.
"You know that's not true."
What I know is our marriage is over. Whatever situation you're in, handle it yourself.
"Marcus, please."
Don't call me again. The line went dead. When Maya tried to call back, his number was disconnected. She'd tried his office. His assistant Jennifer had answered.
"I'm sorry. Mr. Richmond has instructed us not to accept calls from you."
If you continue to contact this office, he'll pursue a restraining order. Maya had sat in that parking lot for 2 hours, her hand on her still flat stomach, and made a choice. She could break or she could build. For them. For the 3 lives growing inside her who deserved better than this. She chose to build. The pregnancy was brutal from the start. High risk. By month 5, the doctor had put her on bed rest. "You need to stop working, Miss Johnson." "I can't afford to stop working."
"You can't afford to lose these babies."
But bed rest required having a bed. Maya had been evicted when she couldn't make rent. The medical billing job didn't pay enough, and she'd been fired from the hospital for missing shifts due to morning sickness. She'd lived in her car for 3 weeks, parked at rest stops, washed in gas station bathrooms, ate from dollar menus and food banks. Then a women's shelter had space. The women there had recognized the look in her eyes. Survivors themselves, they'd formed a protective circle around her.
"You're gonna make it, honey," Miss Dorothy, an older woman, had told her. "I see fighters, and you're a fighter." Maya hadn't felt like a fighter. She'd felt broken. But she'd gotten up every morning. She'd worked remotely as a freelance graphic designer. Any job she could find, her laptop balanced on her swollen belly. She'd saved every penny, eaten at food banks,
Worn donated maternity clothes. The triplets arrived 5 weeks early at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Maya had been alone. Keisha was out of town. Her mother couldn't get off work. She'd taken an Uber to the hospital, timing contractions with one hand and clutching her overnight bag with the other. Zara came first, screaming her arrival. Amara followed 2 minutes later, quieter but fierce. Imani came last, the smallest, her cry like a question. They were tiny, 4 pounds each, and perfect. The NICU nurses had helped Maya hold all 3, one against her chest, one in each arm.
"You're going to be okay," Maya had whispered to them. "I'm going to give you everything. Everything I didn't have. Everything you deserve. Your daddy doesn't want you, but I want you enough for both of us. You hear me? I love you enough for the whole world." The next 2 years were survival. Government assistance, food stamps, WIC. 70-hour work weeks while the girls slept.
Maya took every freelance design job she could find, no matter how small, no matter the hours. She moved them out of the shelter into a 1-bedroom apartment. The girls slept in the bedroom, Maya slept on the couch. She bought furniture from Goodwill, clothes from yard sales, made every dollar stretch until it screamed. But she'd also kept designing, kept building a portfolio, kept applying for better jobs. Her big break came when a small black-owned magazine called Essence of Us hired her as creative director. "Your designs are powerful," the editor had said. "We need that energy." Maya had poured everything into that job. Her designs were bold, Afrocentric, unapologetically beautiful. Celebrations of black women, black resilience, black joy. One design went viral. A poster she'd created showing a black woman in traditional African dress, her head held high, with the text, "She who was broken became unbreakable." It was shared millions of times. Companies started calling. Maya launched Sankofa Designs from her living room, a company celebrating African diaspora art and culture. The name meant "go back and get it" in Akan, a reminder that her heritage was her strength. The triplets, now 5, had helped pack orders. "Mama, this one goes to California," Zara would announce, taping a box. "This one has my sticker," Amara would add her signature touch. "I drew a heart," Imani would show her artwork. The business grew. A boutique, a flagship store, press coverage. Then Forbes called. "We're doing a feature on black women entrepreneurs. You're on the list." The article ran with a photo of Maya and her daughters in front of her store. The headline, "From Homeless to Millions.
How Maya Johnson built an empire of resilience. Within 6 months, Sankofa Designs had 5 locations. Maya employed 40 people, mostly black women with barriers to employment, single mothers, formerly incarcerated women, survivors. She'd built everything Marcus said she couldn't. And then, on a Tuesday morning, a gold-embossed envelope arrived. Keisha, you need to see this. Her best friend came over, took one look at the invitation, and her face went dark. He invited you to his wedding? Read the note. Keisha read Marcus's handwritten message aloud. Would love for you to see how real success looks. Bring the kids if you can afford babysitting. That petty, arrogant. He wants to humiliate me. So don't go. Maya had looked at the invitation for a long time, at the expensive paper, the elegant calligraphy, the address of the country club where they'd never let her in the door 7 years ago. No, she'd said finally. I'm going. Maya, my daughters deserve to meet their father. Even if he's trash, they deserve to see him, to know they tried. And Marcus? She'd smiled. Marcus needs to see exactly what he threw away. Keisha had grinned. What are you thinking? I'm thinking it's time Marcus Richmond learned what real success looks like. She'd made a call, then another. By the end of the week, everything was arranged. The morning of the wedding, Maya had dressed her daughters in custom African print dresses she'd designed herself. Gold for Zara, purple for Amara, turquoise for Amani. Fresh flower crowns in their natural hair. Mama, you look like a queen, Zara had said. Maya had looked at herself in the mirror. Emerald gown, confident smile, her daughters beside her. We all do, baby. We all do. The Rolls-Royce had pulled up at 10 a.m. sharp. The driver had opened the door. Ready, Miss Johnson? Maya had looked at her daughters, at their bright eyes and beautiful smiles, and felt something settle in her chest. This wasn't about revenge. It was about dignity, about showing her girls that no one else got to define their worth. We're ready. And that's how Maya Johnson arrived at Marcus Richmond's wedding. Not broken, not begging, not small. But that was just the beginning of what Marcus Richmond was about to learn about the woman he'd thrown away. The security guard grabbed Marcus's arm before he could reach the limousine. Sir, you need to calm down. That's my ex-wife! She's crashing my wedding! She has an invitation, Mr. Richmond. Her name's on the guest list. Marcus jerked his arm free, his eyes wild. He'd sent that invitation as a joke, a final humiliation. Maya was supposed to show up broken, maybe in a borrowed dress, taking the bus. Not this. Never this. Maya's heels clicked against the red carpet with the confidence of a woman who'd paid for it herself. Her daughters walked beside her, hands linked, matching her stride. Zara on the left, Amara in the middle, Imani on the right. 6 years old and already carrying themselves like royalty. Mr. Richmond, a photographer called out. Can we get a photo with your daughters? Marcus's face went from red to gray. Behind him, Olivia, his bride, stood frozen in her Vera Wang gown, watching the scene unfold like a car crash she couldn't look away from. Those aren't, Marcus started, but Maya was already there, standing 10 feet from him, close enough that 300 guests could hear every word. Hello, Marcus. Her voice was steady, warm even, like greeting an old acquaintance instead of the man who'd destroyed her. You look well. What are you doing here? You invited me. Remember, you wanted me to see real success. She gestured at the venue, the flowers, the excess. Mission accomplished. You weren't supposed to actually come. Why? Because you thought I couldn't afford it? Maya smiled. Or because you were hoping I'd still be living in that shelter? A ripple went through the crowd. Several guests leaned in, listening. Olivia finally found her voice. Marcus, who is this? Nobody, Marcus said quickly. She's nobody. Zara's small hand tightened around Maya's. Mama, why is Daddy saying you're nobody? The words landed like a bomb. Olivia's hand flew to her mouth. Whispers erupted around them. Marcus looked like he was about to vomit. Daddy? Olivia repeated, her voice climbing an octave. Marcus, what is she talking about? It's complicated. No, it's actually quite simple, Maya said, her tone pleasant as Sunday morning. We were married for 3 years. I worked 3 jobs to fund his startup while he built his company. When he got his investment, He divorced me and left me with nothing. 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant with triplets. He hung up on me and blocked my number. That's not... You're twisting, Marcus sputtered. Am I? Girls, say hello to your father. 3 little voices, perfectly synchronized. Hello, Daddy. Marcus stood there, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. Around them, camera phones appeared. The photographer was clicking away, capturing every moment. A videographer had turned from the wedding setup to record the drama unfolding. Constance Richmond pushed through the crowd, her pearls gleaming, her face a mask of horror and rage. Marcus, what is the meaning of this? Mother, I can explain. Constance. Maya turned to face her former mother-in-law. It's been what, 7 years? You look exactly the same. You have some nerve showing up here. Your son invited me. In writing. Would you like to see the invitation? Harrison Richmond appeared behind his wife, his face thunderous. This is inappropriate. Security! I'm here as an invited guest, Mr. Richmond, with my daughters. Your granddaughters. Maya's voice never lost its composure. But if you'd like us to leave, we can. Girls, should we go? But we just got here, Amara said, confused. And I want to see the cake. There's cake? Imani perked up. The innocence of it. 3 little girls just wanting cake, unaware of the adult disaster around them, made several guests laugh. Someone in the crowd cooed. A woman in a pink dress stepped forward. Are these your daughters? They're beautiful. Thank you, Maya smiled. This is Zara, Amara, and Imani. How old are they? 6. They'll be 7 next month. The woman did the math quickly, glancing at Marcus. Her expression shifted from friendly to cold in seconds. Congratulations on your beautiful family. More guests were approaching now, drawn by curiosity and the spectacle. An older black woman in an elegant navy suit made her way through the crowd. Maya recognized her immediately. Diane Morrison, venture capitalist, billionaire, the woman every entrepreneur in Atlanta wanted to impress. Maya Johnson. Diane extended her hand. I saw your Forbes feature. Sankofa Designs. Impressive work. Ms. Morrison, it's an honor. The honor is mine. I've been trying to get a meeting with you for months. Diane glanced at Marcus with barely concealed contempt. Marcus never mentioned he knew you. Marcus never mentions a lot of things, Maya said smoothly. Clearly. Diane knelt down to the girl's eye level. What beautiful young ladies. Are you enjoying the party? We just got here, Zara said. But that man said Mama is nobody, and that's not true because Mama owns 3 stores. 5 stores, baby, Maya corrected gently. 5 stores? Diane stood up laughing. Well, that man is clearly mistaken about a great many things. Maya, we should talk business. Are you free next week? I'll have my assistant send you my calendar. Diane pulled out a business card. Please do. And girls, make sure you get some cake. I hear it's 7 tiers. She walked away, leaving Marcus standing there like his entire world was tilting. Other guests were circling now. Business associates, friends, even some of Olivia's family members, all more interested in Maya than the bride. Olivia grabbed Marcus's arm. We need to talk. Now. The ceremony starts in 20 minutes. I don't care about the ceremony. You have 3 children you never told me about? It's not what you think. Then what is it, Marcus? Because it looks like you abandoned your pregnant wife and 3 babies. I didn't abandon. She was trying to trap me. Maya's voice cut through, sharp as glass. Trap you? I called you once, one time, to tell you I was pregnant. You accused me of cheating and hung up on me. Because you could have been. I was working 2 jobs and sleeping 4 hours a night to pay for your dreams, Marcus. When exactly would I have time to cheat? The crowd had gone silent. Every eye was on them. A groomsman near the front pulled out his phone, clearly recording. Olivia's voice was ice. You accused her of cheating? Your wife? The woman who supported you? Ex-wife, Marcus said desperately, as if that distinction mattered. We were already divorced. When did you file for divorce? Olivia demanded. Marcus said nothing. When, Marcus? 3 weeks before I told her I was pregnant, Maya supplied helpfully. He'd already met you by then, Olivia. I saw the photos. You were at that tech conference in Miami. Olivia's face went white. That was 8 months before we started dating. You told me you'd been single for a year. I was emotionally single. Oh my God. Olivia stepped back. You were still married when we met? Technically, but... Technically? Olivia's voice was rising. Her mother appeared at her side, looking between Marcus and Maya with growing understanding. Olivia, honey, what's going on? What's going on, Mother? Is that my fiancé apparently has 3 children he never mentioned. And he was married when we met. And he... Her voice cracked. He invited his ex-wife here to humiliate her, except she showed up more successful than he is. Olivia's mother, a tall, elegant woman who'd clearly run in wealthy circles her entire life, looked at Maya with new eyes. You're Maya Johnson? Sankofa Designs? Yes, ma'am. My daughter bought 3 of your pieces last month, the African Queen series. I remember that order. Austin, Texas. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your art. She turned to Marcus. You divorced this woman? It was complicated. It doesn't sound complicated. It sounds like you're an idiot who threw away something valuable for something shinier. She put her arm around Olivia. Sweetheart, I think we need to have a conversation about whether this wedding should happen. Mother? Olivia's eyes were filling with tears. Think about it, honey. If he could do this to her, abandon her pregnant with triplets, what makes you think he won't do the same to you? Marcus looked around wildly, realizing he was losing control of everything. This is my wedding, my day. Actually, Maya said quietly, it's Olivia's day. Or it was supposed to be. Before you invited your ex-wife to humiliate her and ended up humiliating yourself. Constance pushed forward again. How dare you speak to my son that way? How dare I? Maya's composure finally cracked, just slightly. Mrs. Richmond, your son left me homeless and pregnant. He blocked my number. He told his assistant to threaten me with a restraining order if I contacted him. I had to give birth in a county hospital with no family there because I couldn't afford anything else. I lived in a shelter with 3 newborns. Your son didn't send a penny of child support, didn't ask if his children were alive, didn't care if we were eating or sleeping in a car. You're lying. I have the court documents, the unanswered calls, the emails his assistant returned. Would you like me to show everyone? Constance's mouth opened and closed. But I didn't come here for that, Maya continued, her voice returning to that measured calm. I came here because despite everything Marcus did, my daughters deserve a chance to know their father, to see him, to understand where they come from. She looked at Zara, Amara, and Amani. Even if he doesn't deserve to know them. Zara tugged on Maya's dress. Mama, can we go home now? This party isn't very fun. Several people laughed. Genuine, sympathetic laughter. An older man in an expensive suit, one of Marcus's investors Maya recognized, spoke up. Richmond, I think you should take some time with your daughters. The ceremony can wait. No, the ceremony is happening. Marcus. Harrison's voice was steel. Perhaps you should listen. Marcus looked at his father, then at the crowd, then at Maya and the girls. Trapped. Cornered. His wedding was imploding around him, and 300 people were watching it happen in real time. Fine. He bit off the word. Girls, do you want to talk? 3 little heads shook in unison. Amara spoke for all of them. You're mean. You made Mama cry. I never. When did I make her cry? When you said we weren't yours. Mama told us you didn't want us. Amara's eyes were wide, honest. Why didn't you want us? The question hung in the air like smoke. Marcus had no answer. Around them, women were tearing up. Men were looking away, uncomfortable. Even the photographer had lowered his camera. Maya knelt down, eye level with her daughters. Remember what I told you, babies. Sometimes people aren't ready to be what we need them to be, and that's okay. We're complete exactly as we are. But he's our daddy, Amani said, her voice small. Biology doesn't make you a father, baby. Love does. Showing up does. Being there when things are hard does. Maya brushed a curl from Amani's forehead. And your daddy chose not to do any of those things. She stood up, facing Marcus one last time. I didn't come here to ruin your wedding, Marcus. I came here to give you a chance to do the right thing, to acknowledge your daughters, to maybe, just maybe, show 1 ounce of the decency I once believed you had. She paused. But I can see now that man never existed. The man I loved was a fantasy. You were always this person, selfish, cruel, willing to throw away anything that didn't serve your ego. Maya, we'll go. Your wedding can continue. But understand this. These 3 girls are going to grow up knowing their father chose his pride over them. They're going to see this video because, trust me, it's all over social media already. And they're going to know who you really are. Not the story you tell. Not the image you sell. The truth. She took her daughter's hands. Come on, girls. Let's get that cake somewhere else. They'd made it 3 steps when Olivia's voice stopped them. Wait! Maya turned. Olivia was crying now, mascara running, her perfect bridal makeup destroyed. But her voice was steady. I'm sorry, Olivia said. I'm so sorry for what he did to you. For what he put you through. She looked at the triplets. For what he did to them. It's not your fault. I know. But I need you to know, I had no idea. If I'd known, I never would have... Her voice broke. He told me he'd been single, that his last relationship ended amicably. He never mentioned you. Never mentioned being married, and he certainly never mentioned 3 daughters. I believe you. Do you? Olivia wiped her eyes. Because I'm standing here in a wedding dress, about to marry a man who clearly has no problem lying to everyone in his life. Then don't. The words were simple. Clear. Olivia stared at Maya. Don't marry him, Maya repeated. You deserve better than a man who would do this. Trust me, I learned that lesson the hard way. Olivia looked at Marcus, who was standing there pale and sweating, his perfect wedding falling apart. Then she looked back at Maya, strong, composed, successful despite everything Marcus had done to destroy her. You're right, Olivia said quietly. Then louder. You're right. She turned to the crowd. The wedding is canceled. Gasps, murmurs. Marcus lurched forward. Olivia, no, we can fix this. Fix what, Marcus? The fact that you're a liar? That you abandoned your children? That you invited your ex-wife here to humiliate her because you're so insecure about your own success that you needed to make sure she knew she was beneath you? Olivia pulled off her engagement ring. Except she's not beneath you. She's miles above you, and she always was. She dropped the ring at his feet. It bounced once, twice, rolling to a stop near Maya's heel. Maya looked down at it. The giant diamond, the platinum setting. Probably cost more than her first year's rent. She stepped over it without a second glance. Girls, who wants ice cream? 3 hands shot up. Maya walked away from Marcus Richmond's imploding wedding with her head high and her daughters by her side, leaving behind a man who'd lost everything that mattered before he even realized he had it. Behind them, the whispers grew into conversations. Conversations into arguments. Marcus stood in the center of it all, watching Maya disappear into the afternoon sun, and finally, maybe for the first time in his life, understood what he'd thrown away. But understanding came too late. It always did for men like Marcus. The ice cream parlor was 3 blocks from the country club, a small, family-owned shop with checkered floors and red vinyl booths. Maya slid into a corner seat while Zara, Amara, and Amani pressed their faces against the glass display case, debating flavors with the seriousness of Supreme Court justices. Chocolate with sprinkles, Zara declared. Strawberry with gummy bears, Amara countered. Can I have both? Amani looked up hopefully. The teenager behind the counter grinned. You can have whatever you want, sweetheart. Maya's phone buzzed. Then again. Then it didn't stop. She glanced at the screen. 47 notifications in the last 10 minutes. Text messages, social media alerts, missed calls. The video was already viral. Keisha's name flashed across the screen. Maya answered. Girl, what did you do? I went to a wedding. You destroyed a wedding! It's everywhere! Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Marcus Richmond's canceled wedding is the #1 trending topic in Atlanta. Maya watched her daughters collect their ice cream cones, their faces glowing with simple joy. He destroyed his own wedding, Keisha. I just showed up. In a Rolls Royce with 3 gorgeous daughters in an emerald gown. Maya, you're a legend. Do you know how many women are calling you a hero right now? I'm not a hero. I'm just a mother who wanted her children to meet their father. And instead, you showed him exactly what he lost. The comments are insane.
People are talking about boycotting his company.
His LinkedIn is getting destroyed. Someone found his old tweets about family values, and they're roasting him alive. Maya felt nothing. No satisfaction. No vindication. Just tired. I need to go. My daughters need me. Wait, are you okay? Really okay? Maya looked at Zara, carefully dividing her ice cream into equal bites. At Amara, getting sprinkles everywhere. At Imani's chocolate mustache. Yeah, I'm okay.
She hung up as the girl scrambled into the booth, ice cream in hand.
Mama, that party was weird, Zara said, licking her cone. I know, baby. Why was everyone so mad? How do you explain abandonment to a 6-year-old? How do you tell your daughter that her father chose pride over her existence? Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, Maya said carefully. And sometimes those mistakes hurt people. Did we hurt someone? Amara's eyes went wide with worry. No, sweetheart.
You three are perfect. This wasn't about you.
But that man, our daddy, he looked angry. He was surprised. He wasn't expecting us. Why not? You said he invited us. He did, but I don't think he thought we'd actually come. Imani tilted her head, thinking. Doesn't he want to know us? The question landed like a fist to Maya's chest. She reached across the table, taking Imani's small, sticky hand. Some people don't know what they want until it's gone. Your father made choices that hurt us, but those choices don't define you. You are loved. You are wanted. You are enough, exactly as you are. But he's our daddy, Imani repeated, her voice wobbling. Biology doesn't make a father, baby. Love does. And you have so much love. You have me, you have Grandma, you have Auntie Keisha, you have Miss Dorothy, you have a whole community that chose to love you. Zara, always the eldest, always trying to understand everything, spoke up. But what if we want him to love us too? Maya felt tears threaten. She blinked them back. Then that's his loss, baby girl. Because you three are the most incredible gift anyone could ever have. And if he can't see that, that's his blindness, not your fault. The bell above the door chimed. Maya glanced up and froze. Diane Morrison walked in, still in her navy suit from the wedding, looking completely out of place in the small ice cream shop. She spotted Maya immediately and headed over. Miss Morrison, please call me Diane. She gestured to the empty seat. May I? Maya nodded. Diane slid into the booth, her eyes settling on the triplets with genuine warmth. Did you get the good flavors? I got chocolate with sprinkles and strawberry, Imani announced proudly. That's the way to do it. Never settle for just one when you can have both. Diane looked at Maya. I left the wedding, or what was left of it. Olivia's family is threatening to sue Marcus for emotional distress. His parents are in damage control mode, and Marcus himself is hiding in the coat room. I didn't mean for... Yes, you did. Diane's voice was kind but firm. And you should have. That man needed to face consequences. What I want to know is how you survived what he put you through and came out stronger. Maya was quiet for a moment. I didn't have a choice. When you have 3 lives depending on you, you figure it out or you fail them, and I refused to fail them. That's exactly the kind of determination I invest in. Diane pulled out her phone, scrolling through something. Sankofa Designs, 5 locations, revenue growth of 300% year over year, featured in Forbes, Essence, and Black Enterprise. But you're still operating on a limited capital base. I bootstrap everything. I don't take on debt I can't handle. Smart, but limited. What if I told you I wanted to invest $10 million in Sankofa? Maya's spoon clattered against her bowl. 10 million? To scale nationally, 20 locations in 2 years. Your designs deserve to be everywhere. Your story deserves to be everywhere. But more than that, your business model, hiring women with barriers to employment, paying living wages, profit sharing, that's the kind of ethical capitalism I want to support. Ms. Morrison, Diane, that's incredibly generous, but I need to think about it. Make sure it aligns with my values and my vision. Of course, That's why I want to invest in you. You don't jump at money. You consider what it costs. Diane stood up. My office will send over the preliminary terms. No pressure. But Maya, what you did today wasn't just about standing up to your ex-husband. You showed 300 people what integrity looks like, what strength looks like. That's worth more than any business deal. She left a business card on the table and walked out, leaving Maya staring at numbers that could change everything. Mama, what's invest mean? Zara asked. It means someone believes in you enough to help you grow. Does she believe in you? Maya looked at her daughters, their faces sticky with ice cream, their eyes full of trust and love. I think she believes in all of us. 3 hours later, Maya was home in their townhouse, the one she'd bought last year with her own money, decorated with her own designs, filled with her own joy. The girls were in the bathtub, playing with rubber ducks and making up songs about princesses and dragons. Maya sat on her bed, her phone still blowing up with notifications. The video had been viewed 4 million times. 4 million people watching Marcus Richmond's lies explode in real time. There was a knock at the door. Maya glanced at the security camera app on her phone, and her stomach dropped. Constance Richmond stood on her doorstep, alone, looking smaller than Maya remembered. She almost didn't answer, almost let the woman stand there. But curiosity, or maybe closure, made her walk downstairs and open the door. Mrs. Richmond. May I come in? Maya stepped aside. Constance entered, her eyes sweeping over the warm, colorful space. African art on the walls, family photos everywhere, children's drawings covering the refrigerator. You have a beautiful home. Thank you. I came to... Constance's voice caught. I came to apologize. Maya had imagined this moment 1,000 times during the years of struggle. She'd imagined screaming, crying, throwing Constance out. But now, standing here, she felt nothing but tired pity. Apologize for what specifically? For calling me unsuitable? For cutting Marcus off when he married me? For never once checking if your grandchildren were alive? Constance flinched at each question. All of it. I was wrong about you. About everything. You were wrong about your son. I was just collateral damage. We raised him to value status over substance, to see people as assets or liabilities. We taught him that. Constance's hands were shaking. I watched the video. I heard what he said to you, how he treated you, and I realized we made him that way. Mrs. Richmond, I appreciate you coming here, but your apology doesn't change anything. You chose your money and your status over basic human decency. You chose your pride over 3 innocent children. So forgive me if I don't feel particularly moved by your regret now that it's socially inconvenient for you. I'm not here for forgiveness. I'm here because those girls upstairs deserve to know they have grandparents. Flawed, foolish grandparents, but grandparents nonetheless. They have a grandmother, my mother, who worked overtime to help me keep them fed, who drove 40 miles every weekend to babysit so I could work, who loved them when their own father couldn't be bothered to return a phone call. I know, and she's a better woman than I'll ever be. Constance reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope. This is a check for all the child support Marcus should have paid, for all the years we turned our backs. It won't fix anything, but it's a start. Maya looked at the envelope like it was a snake. I don't want your money. It's not for you, it's for them. College funds, whatever they need. Please. Girls? Maya called up the stairs. Can you come down here for a minute? 3 wet heads appeared at the top of the stairs, wrapped in towels that looked like dinosaurs. We're not dressed, Mama. That's okay. Just come say hello to someone. They tumbled down the stairs, curious and dripping. Constance's breath caught when she saw them up close. Really saw them. 3 little girls, with Marcus's eyes and Maya's determination. Girls, this is Mrs. Richmond, your father's mother, your grandmother. Zara studied Constance with the brutal honesty of childhood. You're the lady from the party, the one with the pearls who said mean things. Constance's eyes filled with tears. Yes, and I'm very sorry for that. Why were you mean to Mama? Because I was foolish. I judged her without knowing her, and made a terrible mistake. Amara stepped forward. Do you want to know us now? The question broke Constance. She knelt down, not caring about her expensive suit on the floor, and looked at her granddaughters. More than anything in the world. If you'll let me. Imani, always the most tender-hearted, reached out and touched Constance's pearls. These are pretty. They were my mother's. Maybe someday they could be yours. Maya watched the scene unfold, emotions warring inside her. She didn't want to forgive. Didn't want to let these people who'd caused so much pain into their lives. But she also saw her daughters' faces, hopeful, open, willing to give someone who'd failed them a second chance. Mrs. Richmond, if you want to be part of their lives, there are rules. You don't get to appear when it's convenient and disappear when it's not. You don't get to make promises you won't keep. You show up, consistently, not with money or gifts, but with presence and love. And if you hurt them, if you let them down the way your son did, I will cut you out permanently. Are we clear? Crystal clear. Then you can take them to the park next Saturday. 2 hours. I'll be there the whole time.
Constance stood up, tears streaming down her face.
Thank you, Maya. You're showing more grace than I deserve. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for them. Every child deserves grandparents who show up. After Constance left, Maya sat on the couch, drained. Zara climbed up beside her. Mama, are we going to see her again? Would you like to? I think so. She seems sad. She is sad, but sadness doesn't excuse bad behavior. Remember that.
Is Daddy sad too?
Maya pulled Zara close. I don't know, baby, but it's not your job to fix him. I know. Zara was quiet for a moment. Mama, today was really weird. Maya laughed. Really laughed for the first time all day. Yeah, baby. Today was really weird. By midnight, the video had 10 million views. Marcus's company was trending for all the wrong reasons. Business partners were distancing themselves. The tech blogs that had praised him were now writing think pieces about ethical leadership and accountability. Maya's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? Maya? Marcus's voice was broken, hollow. Can we talk? She should have hung up. Should have blocked the number. But something made her listen. Talk. I'm sorry. For all of it. You were right about everything. I know. Olivia left me. My investors are pulling out. My mother won't stop crying. My father says I've embarrassed the family. Good. Good? His voice cracked. Maya, I'm losing everything. Now you know how it feels. When you divorced me, I lost everything. But the difference is, I didn't deserve it. You do. I want to meet them, my daughters, really meet them. Maya was quiet for a long time. Why now? Because it's socially convenient? Because you're losing everything else? Or because you actually care? Because I saw them today. Really saw them. And I realized I have 3 daughters I've never held, never talked to, never even asked about. You're 7 years late, Marcus. I know, but I want to try. Please. Maya thought about Zara's question. Is Daddy sad too? She thought about her own childhood, growing up without a father. She thought about the man Marcus could be versus the man he'd been. You can meet them, under supervision. You want to be their father? Prove it. Show up. Consistently. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Not with money, but with presence. And Marcus, if you hurt them, if you let them down again, I promise you, what happened today will look like mercy compared to what I'll do to you. Understood. Next Sunday, 2 p.m., the park on Riverside. You have 1 hour. Don't be late. She hung up before he could respond. Keisha called 30 seconds later. Did you just agree to let him see the girls? You're tracking my calls now? The whole world is tracking you. You're all anyone can talk about. And yes, I saw Marcus's car parked outside your building on the security cameras. Girl, what are you thinking? I'm thinking my daughters deserve a chance to know their father. And if he screws it up, that's on him, not on me for giving him the opportunity. You're better than me. I would have told him to rot. Trust me, part of me wants to. But I keep thinking about Zara asking why he doesn't want them. And I realized I can't answer that question. Only he can. So I'm giving him 1 chance to be the father they deserve. 1. And if he blows it, then at least they'll know I tried. that I gave him every opportunity. And when they're older and they ask why Daddy wasn't around, I can honestly say it was his choice, not mine. Keisha sighed. You're doing the right thing, even though it's the hardest thing. After they hung up, Maya walked upstairs and looked in on her daughters. Zara was sprawled across her bed, one arm hanging off the side. Amara was curled into a perfect ball, clutching her stuffed elephant. Imani had somehow ended up perpendicular, her feet on her pillow. Maya adjusted blankets, kissed foreheads, and stood in the doorway watching them breathe. These 3 miracles. These 3 reasons she'd survived. These 3 hearts she'd protect with everything she had. Her phone buzzed one more time. An email from Diane Morrison's office. Subject line, Sankofa Investment Proposal. Maya opened it. The terms were beyond generous. $10 million in funding, but Maya retained full creative control and majority ownership. Profit sharing extended to employees. Community investment requirements. Everything she dreamed of. At the bottom, a personal note from Diane. Build the empire you deserve. The world is watching. Maya looked at her sleeping daughters, at her beautiful home she'd built from nothing, at the future stretching out before them. 7 years ago, Marcus had thrown her away, expecting her to disappear. Instead, she'd become unforgettable. She opened her laptop and began typing a response to Diane. Not yes, not yet, but a list of questions, concerns, and visions for what Sankofa could become. Because Maya Johnson didn't accept handouts. She built partnerships. And she was just getting started. Sunday arrived like a held breath. Maya dressed the girls in casual clothes, jeans and t-shirts, nothing fancy. If Marcus was going to be their father, he needed to meet them as they were, not as some performed version of perfection. Where are we going, Mama? Amara asked, tying her sneakers. To the park, to spend some time with your father. Zara looked up from her book. Is he going to be mean again? I don't know, baby, but I'll be right there the whole time. What if we don't want to talk to him? Then you don't have to. This is for you, not for him. You get to decide what you're comfortable with. The drive to Riverside Park took 15 minutes. Maya's hands were tight on the steering wheel, her stomach churning. She kept telling herself this was the right thing, giving him a chance. But every instinct screamed to protect her daughters from more disappointment. Marcus was already there, sitting on a bench near the playground. He'd lost weight in a week. His clothes were rumpled, his usual polish gone. He stood up when he saw them, his hands shaking. Maya parked and turned to face the girls in the back seat. Remember, you don't owe him anything. Not a hug, not a smile, not even a conversation. You be yourselves, and if you want to leave at any time, you tell me. Okay, Mama. They walked toward him together, Maya's hand resting protectively on Zara's shoulder. Marcus took a step forward, then stopped, uncertain. Hi, he said, his voice rough. Hi, girls. 3 little faces stared at him with varying degrees of curiosity and wariness. I'm Marcus. He couldn't even say it. You're our father, Zara finished for him, her voice matter-of-fact. But you haven't been a daddy. The distinction landed hard. Marcus flinched. You're right, I haven't been. But I'd like to try, if you'll let me. Imani hid behind Maya's leg. Amara crossed her arms. Zara just watched him with those careful, assessing eyes. Why didn't you want us before? Zara asked. Maya started to intervene, but Marcus held up his hand. No, it's okay. She deserves an answer. He crouched down to their eye level. I was scared. When your mom told me she was pregnant, I was building my company, and I thought a family would slow me down. I thought success meant money and power, not people who loved me. I was wrong. Really, really wrong. Mama says being wrong is okay if you learn from it, Amara offered. Your mama is right about a lot of things. She was right about me. She says you threw us away, Imani whispered, still half hidden. Marcus's face crumpled. I did. And that's the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Worse than breaking Mama's heart? Zara pressed. Your mom's heart could heal, but I can't get back these 7 years with you. I missed your first words, your first steps, your first day of school. I missed everything that mattered, and I can never get that back. So why should we give you any more time? Zara was relentless. At 6 years old, she was already her mother's defender. Because I'm hoping maybe we can make new memories. Better ones. I can't be the father you needed then, but maybe I can be the father you need now. We don't need you, Zara said simply. We have Mama. She's enough. I know she is. She's always been enough. But maybe you deserve more than just enough. Maybe you deserve everything. Maya watched this exchange, her heart in her throat. Part of her wanted to grab her daughters and run, but another part, the part that remembered the man Marcus had been before money poisoned him, wanted to believe people could change. Can I show you something? Marcus pulled out his phone, scrolling through photos. He turned the screen to show them. Pictures of himself as a child with his own father, smiling and happy. Then progressively older photos where the smiles got tighter, more forced. This is me and my dad. He taught me that love was conditional, that worth was measured in dollars, that people were assets or liabilities. I believed him because I didn't know any better. But your mom showed me different. She loved me when I had nothing. She believed in me when no one else did, and I repaid that by becoming exactly like my father. He swiped to another photo, the viral video screenshot, frozen on Maya's face as she stood in that emerald gown. Do you know what I saw when I watched this video? I saw a woman who survived everything I threw at her and came out stronger. I saw 3 daughters who were kind and smart and brave despite never having a father. And I realized, I'm not in this picture. I erased myself from it, and that was my choice. You can't be in the picture now just because you feel bad, Zara said. You're right, but maybe I can be in future pictures, if you'll give me a chance. Amara stepped forward. What would you do if we gave you a chance? Whatever you wanted. We could play, talk, get to know each other. I could come to your school events, your dance recitals, your soccer games. I could be there for the moments I missed. Not to replace your mom, no one could ever replace her, but to add to your life, not take from it. Do you have toys? Amani peeked out from behind Maya. Marcus smiled, genuine, sad. No, but we could play with the ones here. What do you like to play? Tag, Imani said. Okay, want to play tag? Imani looked up at Maya. Can we, Mama? Maya's throat was tight. If you want to. Imani took a tentative step toward Marcus, then another. Amara followed. Zara stayed back, still uncertain, still protective. What about you? Marcus asked Zara. Want to play? I'll watch first. Fair enough. They played tag for 20 minutes. Marcus ran, letting the girls catch him, his expensive shoes getting muddy, his shirt stained with grass. He laughed when Imani tagged him, chased Amara around the swings, and kept glancing at Zara, hoping she'd join. Maya sat on the bench, watching. Her phone buzzed, another message from the business world that had suddenly taken notice of her. An interview request from Good Morning America. A partnership offer from a major retailer. Her story had sparked something larger than herself. But right now, all that mattered was the 3 little girls playing with a man who was trying, however imperfectly, to be their father. He's not very good at tag, Zara said, sitting beside Maya. No, he's not. But he's trying. Yes, he is. Are you mad at me for not playing? Maya pulled Zara close. Baby, you never have to do anything you're not ready for. Not with him. Not with anyone. I'm not ready to trust him yet. That's okay. Trust is earned. He has a long way to go. They watched Imani squeal with delight as Marcus pretended to be a monster chasing them. Amara was laughing, her guard down for the first time. But maybe, Zara said quietly, maybe someday I could be ready. Maybe someday. After an hour, Marcus walked back to the bench, sweating and smiling despite the sadness in his eyes. The girls ran to the swings, already absorbed in their own world again. Thank you, he said to Maya, for giving me this. I didn't do it for you. I know, but still, thank you. Don't thank me yet. 1 hour doesn't erase 7 years. I know, but it's a start. He hesitated. Would it be okay if I came to their school? There's a father-daughter breakfast next month. I saw it on the school website. Maya's instinct was to say no, to protect them from potential disappointment. But she looked at Imani and Amara playing, at how their faces had lit up during the game. If you commit to coming, you show up. You don't cancel last minute. You don't let them down. Because if you do, that's it. No second chances. I'll be there. I promise. Promises are cheap, Marcus. Presence is what matters. He nodded, understanding he'd have to prove every word. The company's in trouble. Investors are pulling out. The board wants me to step down. Good. Good. Maybe losing everything will teach you what actually matters. I had to learn that lesson. Now it's your turn. Marcus was quiet for a moment. You're right. About everything. I see that now. Seeing it isn't enough. Doing something about it is what counts. I'm trying. I'm in therapy. Real therapy, not the executive coaching bullshit. I'm working on understanding why I became the person I became. That's between you and your therapist. What matters to me is how you treat our daughters. Our daughters. Marcus said it like he was testing the words. I like the sound of that. Then earn the right to say it. Keisha showed up at Maya's house that evening with wine and Thai food. Okay, spill. How did it go? Maya told her everything while they ate pad thai on the couch. The girls were upstairs doing homework, their voices drifting down in occasional bursts of laughter. He actually played tag? Marcus, I don't touch anything that costs less than $1,000 Richmond played tag in the mud? He did. And the girls, Imani and Amara at least, they responded. Zara's still holding back. Smart girl. She gets that from you. I don't know if I did the right thing, Keisha. What if he hurts them? What if he shows up to the father-daughter breakfast and then disappears again? Then you'll pick up the pieces, like you always do. But Maya, you gave them a chance to know him. That's all you can do. The rest is on him. Maya's phone rang. Diane Morrison. I need to take this. Ms. Morrison, Diane. Maya, have you reviewed the proposal? I have. I sent you my questions yesterday. And I've answered every one. But that's not why I'm calling. I want you on my podcast. I'm recording an episode about women entrepreneurs who've overcome adversity. Your story needs to be told. I'm not sure I want to be the poster child for abandoned single mothers. You're not. You're the example of what's possible when determination meets opportunity. Do you know how many women have reached out to me in the past week saying your story inspired them to leave abusive situations, to start their own businesses, to stop settling for less than they deserve? Maya was quiet. She'd seen some of the messages, the emails from strangers sharing their own stories of survival and rebuilding. When would you want to record? This week, Thursday afternoon. 2 hours. We'll talk about Sankofa, about your journey, about what's next. And Maya, I'm not just offering investment. I'm offering partnership. I want to help you build something that outlasts both of us. After hanging up, Maya found Keisha watching her with a knowing smile. What? You're doing it. Actually doing it. Building the empire. I'm just trying to provide for my daughters. No, you're showing them what's possible. That's bigger than money. That's legacy. Wednesday night, Maya couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the father-daughter breakfast, about Marcus showing up or not showing up, about her daughters' faces if he let them down. She went to their room and watched them sleep. Zara's arm was flung across Amara, protective even in dreams. Imani was curled into a ball, her stuffed elephant clutched tight. Her phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. She opened it. This is Olivia. I hope it's okay that I'm contacting you. I wanted you to know I'm grateful for what you did. You saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life. Also, I'd like to order 15 pieces from your spring collection for my mother's charity gala. She's raising money for single mothers. Seems appropriate. Maya stared at the message, then typed back. Thank you. And yes, I'd be happy to work with your mother. Send me the details. 3 dots appeared, then, for what it's worth, you're the strongest woman I've ever met. Marcus lost everything when he lost you. Maya didn't respond. What was there to say? She'd already proven everything that needed proving. Thursday's podcast recording was in Diane's downtown office, all glass and steel and money. Maya wore one of her own designs, a blazer with African print accents, professional but unapologetically herself. The interview lasted 3 hours. Diane asked about everything. The The marriage, the divorce, living in the car, the shelter, building Sankofa from nothing.
What kept you going? Diane asked. In those darkest moments, what made you get up?
Maya thought about it. My daughters. But also anger. Good anger. The kind that fuels you instead of consuming you. Every time someone told me I couldn't do something, every time someone looked at me like I was less than, I thought, watch me prove you wrong. And you did. I'm still doing it. Success isn't a destination. It's a practice.
What would you say to women watching this who are in situations similar to where you were?
Maya looked directly into the camera. That you're stronger than you know. That rock bottom has a trap door, but it also has a ladder. That every person who underestimated you was giving you fuel. Use it. Build something they never imagined you could. And most importantly, your worth isn't determined by who chose to leave. It's determined by who you choose to become.
After the recording, Diane walked Maya to her car.
The investment. Are you ready to say yes? Maya looked up at the skyline, the city she'd rebuilt her life in, the place where she'd transformed from victim to victor. Yes, but with one condition. Part of every expansion has to include job training for women in situations like I was in. Single mothers, women leaving domestic violence, formerly incarcerated women, women who need a second chance. Done. We'll write it into the contract.
They shook hands. Partnership, not charity, not pity. Mutual respect between two women who understood the game and played it on their own terms.
Saturday morning, Maya was at her flagship store reviewing the spring collection when her phone rang. Marcus. The father-daughter breakfast is next Friday. I wanted to confirm. Is it okay if I come? You need to ask the girls, not me. Right. Could I call them? Maya hesitated, then put him on speaker. Girls, come here for a minute.
3 pairs of feet thundered down the stairs. They appeared at the office door, curious.
Your father wants to ask you something. Marcus's voice came through the phone, nervous. Hi, girls. There's a father-daughter breakfast at your school next Friday. Would you want me to come? It's okay if you don't. I'd like to be there if you'd have me. Imani squealed. Yes! We get pancakes and everything! Amara nodded enthusiastically. Can you come, Daddy? The word hung in the air.
Daddy. Amara had said it naturally, without thinking, like she'd been practicing.
Zara was quiet. Then, Mama usually takes us, because we don't have a daddy who shows up. I know, Marcus said softly. I haven't shown up, but I want to start, if you'll let me. Zara looked at Maya. A long moment of silent communication passed between them. Then Zara spoke. Okay, you can come, but if you don't show up, I'm never forgiving you. I'll be there. I promise.
After they hung up, Zara turned to Maya.
Did I do the right thing? Maya knelt down, eye level with her eldest daughter. You did what felt right for you. That's always the right thing. What if he doesn't come? Then we'll have pancakes together. Just the 4 of us, like we always do. And we'll be okay. Because we're always okay. But Maya hoped, despite everything, despite the hurt and the anger and the betrayal, she hoped Marcus would show up. Not for herself, not even for him, but for 3 little girls who deserved a father who kept his promises. The week passed in a blur of business meetings, design approvals, and contract negotiations. Diane's lawyers were efficient, and by Thursday evening, Maya had signed papers that would change everything. $10 million. National expansion. A future bigger than anything she'd imagined alone in that shelter 7 years ago. That night, she took the girls out for dinner to celebrate. Mama, why are you smiling so much? Amara asked over pizza. Because we're about to grow. Sankofa is going to be in 20 cities, which means more jobs for more women, more art, more celebration of who we are. Will you still have time for us? Imani's voice was small. Maya reached across the table, taking all 3 of their hands. Always. You 3 are why I do any of this. You're my purpose. Everything else is just details. Zara squeezed her hand. Tomorrow's the breakfast.
I know, baby.
What if he doesn't come? Then we'll have the best pancake breakfast ever. Just the 4 of us. But what if he does come? Maya smiled. Then maybe, just maybe, you'll start to have a father who shows up. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She kept checking her phone, half expecting a text from Marcus canceling. But nothing came. Just silence and possibility, and the terrifying hope that maybe, just maybe, people could change. At 3 a.m., she got up and went to her home office. On her desk was the drawing she'd sketched years ago, the house with floor-to-ceiling windows and a studio space. The dream Marcus had promised and never delivered. Maya picked up a pencil and started sketching a new version, bigger, better, with 3 bedrooms for 3 daughters and a space for them to create their own art. A house she would build herself, with her own money, on her own terms. Because that was the difference between promises and reality. Promises were words. Reality was action. And Maya Johnson had spent 7 years turning impossible into inevitable. Tomorrow would tell her if Marcus had learned that lesson. And if he hadn't, well, she and her daughters would be just fine either way. They always were. Friday morning arrived too fast. Maya woke at 5 a.m., her stomach in knots. She checked her phone. No messages from Marcus. No cancellation. No confirmation either. Just silence. She got up and made coffee, standing at the kitchen window, watching the sunrise paint the sky pink and gold. In 3 hours, they'd know. In 3 hours, Marcus would either prove he'd changed or confirm he never would. "Mama?" Zara appeared in the doorway, already dressed in the outfit she'd picked out days ago, a yellow dress with white flowers. "Is it time?" "Not yet, baby. Another 2 hours." "I couldn't sleep." "Me neither." Zara climbed onto the counter stool beside Maya. "What if he doesn't come?" "Then we eat pancakes and we move on with our lives." "But what if he does come?" Maya looked at her daughter, 6 years old and already protecting her heart. "Then maybe we give him a chance to be better than he was." "Are you scared?" The question caught Maya off guard. "Yes." "Why? You're not scared of anything." "I'm scared of you girls getting hurt. I'm scared of giving him the opportunity to let you down again. But you're letting him come anyway. Because you deserve the chance to have a father, even if it's scary for me." Zara leaned against Maya's shoulder. "You're brave, Mama." "No, baby. I'm terrified. But I do it anyway. That's what love looks like." By 7:30, all 3 girls were dressed and bouncing with nervous energy. Amara kept checking the clock. Imani had changed her socks 3 times, unable to decide. Zara stood at the window, watching the street. "We should go," Maya said. "The breakfast starts at 8. "What if we wait? What if he's running late?" "Then he'll meet us there. Come on." The drive to school took 12 minutes. Maya's hands were steady on the wheel, but her heart was hammering. She kept glancing in the rearview mirror at her daughters' faces, hope and fear warring on each one. The school parking lot was already filling with fathers and daughters. Maya saw other single mothers dropping off their children, saw the way some dads looked uncomfortable in this domestic territory, saw teachers greeting everyone with forced cheerfulness. They walked into the cafeteria. It had been decorated with streamers and balloons. Tables were set with pancakes, bacon, fruit. A banner read, "Donuts with Dad, celebrating fathers and daughters." "I don't see him," Amara whispered. "It's only 5 minutes past 8. We'll wait." They found seats at a table near the back. Maya sat with them even though the event was technically for fathers only. Several other mothers were doing the same thing, the single mom contingent, showing up because their daughters needed someone. 8:15, no Marcus. 8:20, nothing. Zara's face was starting to close off, that protective shield sliding back into place. Amara was picking at her pancakes, not eating. Imani's eyes were filling with tears. "He's not coming," Zara said flatly. "I knew he wouldn't." Maya's heart broke, watching her daughter's hope die in real time. She reached for Zara's hand. "Baby, don't make excuses for him. He promised and he lied, just like you said he would." "I never said." "You didn't have to say it. We all knew. He's never going to be our daddy. He's just the man who left us." 8:25. Maya was about to suggest they leave when the cafeteria door opened. Marcus stood there, breathing hard like he'd been running. His shirt was wrinkled, his hair uncombed, but he was there. Imani saw him first. "Daddy!" She jumped up and ran to him. Marcus dropped to his knees, catching her in a hug that looked like he was holding on to a life raft. Amara followed, throwing herself at him. Even Zara stood up, though she didn't move forward. Marcus looked across the cafeteria at Maya. She saw everything in his face: gratitude, shame, determination, fear.
She nodded once. He'd shown up. That was something. He walked over with Amani and Amara attached to his arms, tears running down his face openly.
I'm sorry I'm late. There was an accident on the highway. I've been sitting in traffic for 45 minutes. I almost abandoned the car and ran here on foot. But you didn't, Maya said quietly. I promised them I'd be here. I wasn't going to break another promise. Zara studied him carefully. You look messy. I know. I forgot to set my alarm and woke up late, and then the traffic... He stopped himself. I'm making excuses. I should have left earlier. I should have planned better. But I'm here now. Is that okay? Zara considered this. Then, sit down. The pancakes are getting cold. Marcus sat. Maya started to stand up to leave them alone, but Amani grabbed her arm. Stay, Mama, please? So Maya stayed, watching Marcus fumble through being a father for the first time. He asked about school, about their favorite subjects, about their friends. The girls answered with increasing enthusiasm, their initial wariness melting. I'm good at math, Amara announced. I got 100 on my last test. That's incredible. I was terrible at math. Really? But you run a company. That's why I hire people who are good at math, he smiled. Being smart means knowing what you don't know. Mama says that too. Your mama is very wise.
Zara was still holding back, eating her pancakes methodically, watching everything. Marcus noticed. Zara, what about you? What are you good at? Reading. And protecting my sisters. The answer landed heavy. Marcus nodded slowly. You're good at that. I can tell. They're lucky to have you watching out for them. They have to have someone, since their father wasn't there. You're right, and I'm sorry about that. Sorrier than you'll probably ever know. Sorry doesn't fix 7 years. No, it doesn't. But maybe showing up does. Every day, consistently, even when it's hard. You've only shown up twice. I know, but I'm planning to show up a lot more, if you'll let me. Around them, other fathers and daughters were laughing, taking photos, making memories. Marcus glanced at them, something painful crossing his face. Can I tell you girls something? They nodded. I grew up with a father who was there physically, but absent in every way that mattered. He taught me that emotions were weakness, that love was transactional, that people were tools to be used. I believed him because I didn't know better. When your mom loved me, really loved me, I didn't know what to do with it. It scared me. So I destroyed it. Why? Amani asked. Because I was broken. And instead of fixing myself, I broke other people. I broke your mom. I abandoned you three before you were even born. And that's on me. Not on her. Not on you. On me. Are you still broken? Amara asked. I'm working on it. I'm in therapy. I'm learning why I became the person I became and how to be different. Better. But it's slow and hard, and I'm going to mess up sometimes. Everyone messes up, Imani said generously. Mama says mistakes are how we learn. Your mama is right about everything. Marcus looked at Maya. I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me. Twice. Once when I divorced your mom, and again when I denied you girls existed. I can't get those years back, but I can try to be better moving forward. A teacher approached their table with a camera. Want a photo? Marcus looked at the girls. Is that okay? Imani and Amara immediately posed. Zara hesitated, then moved closer, still maintaining space between herself and Marcus. The teacher snapped the photo. They looked like what they were, a father trying to rebuild relationships with daughters who barely knew him. After the teacher left, Marcus pulled out 3 wrapped boxes from his bag. I brought these for you, but I want to be clear. These aren't apologies. You can't buy forgiveness. These are just gifts, because I wanted to. Imani tore into hers first, a beautiful journal with her name embossed in gold. It's so pretty. Amara's was a science kit. Her eyes lit up. Is this the one with the microscope?
It is. Your mom mentioned you like science. Zara opened hers slowly. Inside was a first edition of her favorite book series, signed by the author. Her mask slipped for just a second, genuine surprise and pleasure breaking through. How did you know? I asked your mom, and then I spent 3 weeks tracking down a signed copy. 3 weeks? I've been planning this since that day at the park. I wanted to show you I was serious. Zara held the book carefully, like it might disappear. Thank you. The simple words seemed to mean everything to Marcus. His eyes welled up again. You're welcome. The breakfast wound down. Other fathers and daughters filtered out, full and happy. Marcus walked them to Maya's car, carrying Amara on his shoulders, while Amani held his hand. Zara walked beside Maya, still processing. Can I see you again? Marcus asked the girls. Maybe next Saturday? We could go to the aquarium. Yes, Amani squealed. Can we? Amara asked Maya. Maya looked at Zara. What do you think? Zara was quiet for a long moment. Then, okay, but if you cancel, we're done. I won't cancel. People say that all the time. Then they disappoint you anyway. I know, but I'm going to keep showing up until you believe me. After buckling the girls in, Maya turned to Marcus privately. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me the chance. He hesitated. I stepped down as CEO yesterday. Officially. What? My father was right. I embarrassed the family, the company, myself. So I resigned. My investors are buying me out. I'll still have money, but I'm done pretending to be something I'm not. What will you do? Figure out who I actually am? Without the title? Without the company? Maybe teach business ethics at the university? Maybe volunteer? Maybe just learn how to be a decent human being? That's good. For you and for them. Maya, I need to say something. I know I don't have the right to ask anything from you. But watching you with them, the way you love them, protect them, build them up. You're an incredible mother. You always were going to be. I just couldn't see past my own ego to recognize it. I didn't do it to prove anything to you. I know. That's what makes it so remarkable. You did it because they needed you. Because you chose them over everything, including your own pain. He wiped his eyes. I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of being their father. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I'm going to try. Maya nodded. Show up, consistently. That's all they need. What about you? What do you need? Nothing from you. I built everything I needed myself. I know you did, and I'm proud of you. I know I don't have the right to be, but I am. Maya got in her car without responding. Some things didn't need words. On the drive home, the girls chattered about the breakfast, about Marcus showing up, about the aquarium next week. Zara was quieter, but Maya saw her clutching that signed book like a treasure. Did we do the right thing? Zara asked suddenly. Giving him another chance? There's no right or wrong answer, baby. There's just what feels true to you. It feels scary and exciting at the same time. That's usually what hope feels like. 3 months passed. Marcus showed up for the aquarium, then for a movie, then for dinner. Every Saturday, without fail, he appeared. At first, the girls were cautious, waiting for him to disappoint them, but he kept showing up. He came to Amara's science fair with flowers, showed up to Amani's dance recital in the front row, attended Zara's reading contest, and cheered when she won second place. Slowly, incrementally, he became part of their lives. Not the center. Maya was still their sun, but maybe a moon, pulling on their tides, providing light on dark nights. Maya watched it unfold with cautious optimism. She saw Zara finally hug him goodbye after their 4th outing, saw Amara start calling him regularly, saw Amani draw pictures of their family with 4 figures instead of 3. Diane's investment transformed Sankofa. Within 6 months, they'd opened in 8 new cities. Maya hired 50 more women, trained them, gave them profit sharing and benefits. The business exploded, not just as a brand, but as a movement. A year after the viral wedding video, Maya was featured on the cover of Forbes with the headline, From Abandoned to Unstoppable, How Maya Johnson Built a $50 million Empire on Dignity and Design. The article detailed everything: the shelter, the struggle, the viral moment, the business success. But what resonated most was the final quote. Success isn't about proving people wrong.
It's about proving to yourself that you were always enough.
The article went viral again, this time with millions of women sharing their own stories of survival and reinvention. Maya became a symbol, not of victimhood, but of transformation. Marcus reached out after the article. Can we talk? All of us? They met at Maya's new house, the one she'd built from her sketches, with floor-to-ceiling windows and a studio space and 3 bedrooms for 3 daughters.
Marcus walked through it with wonder. You did it. The dream house.
I did it myself. That's the difference. They sat in the living room, Maya, Marcus, and the girls, now 7 years old and growing into remarkable young women. I wanted to talk to you about something, Marcus said. I'm starting a foundation, using the money from my buyout. It's going to provide grants and support for single mothers building businesses. I'm calling it the Second Chances Foundation. Maya studied him.
Why?
Because you gave me a second chance I didn't deserve, and I want to give that gift to other people who do deserve it. That's good. That's really good. And I wanted to ask, would you be willing to serve on the advisory board? Your story, your experience, your wisdom, people need to hear it. I'll think about it. That's all I can ask. Marcus looked at the girls. And I wanted to ask you 3 something too. I know I haven't earned the right to be called your father, but I'm showing up. I'm trying. And I wondered if maybe, someday, you might let me be your dad. Not to replace your mom, no one could ever do that, but to be someone you can count on. Imani answered first. You already are our dad. Amara nodded. You come to everything. You remember what we tell you. You show up. Zara was quiet. Everyone waited. Finally, she spoke. You're not my father, yet, but you're becoming my dad. There's a difference. What's the difference? A father is biology. A dad is choice. You're choosing us now, every week. That matters. Marcus's voice broke. Thank you, all of you, for giving me the chance to choose you. After he left, Maya tucked the girls into bed. They were getting too old for tucking in, but they still let her, still craved that moment of connection before sleep. Mama, Zara said in the darkness, are you happy? Yes, baby, I am. Even though Daddy hurt you? Yes, because he taught me something important. What? That my worth doesn't come from who chooses to stay. It comes from who I choose to be. He left and I thought I'd die, but I didn't. I built something better than anything we had together. I became someone stronger than I knew I could be. And I gave you 3 the best life I could create. We love you, Mama. I love you too, more than anything in this world. 5 years later, Sankofa Designs had 50 locations nationwide. Maya sat in her office on the 20th floor of a building she owned, looking out over the city where she'd once slept in her car. Her phone buzzed. A text from Zara, now 12. Dad's here to pick us up for the weekend. Love you, Mom. Dad. Not Marcus. Not our father. Dad. Maya smiled. Marcus had earned that title through 5 years of consistent presence. He'd never missed a Saturday, never canceled a school event, never made them feel like an obligation. He'd become the father they deserved, even if he'd failed at being the husband Maya needed. They weren't together, would never be together again, but they'd learned to co-parent with respect and grace. Marcus had apologized formally, publicly, using his platform to speak about toxic masculinity and the cost of treating people as disposable. He'd become an advocate, using his own failings as cautionary tales. Constance and Harrison were part of the girls' lives now too, imperfect grandparents trying to make up for years of absence. They'd never be close, but they showed up. That counted for something. Maya's phone rang, an unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? Ms. Johnson, this is the White House. The president would like to invite you to speak at the National Women's Business Summit. Maya listened to the details, agreed to check her calendar, and hung up in a daze. The White House. She'd gone from homeless to the White House in 12 years. That evening, she drove to pick up the girls from Marcus's apartment. They ran out, full of stories about their weekend, a museum visit, A cooking class? A movie marathon? Did you have fun? So much fun, Imani gushed. Dad taught us how to make pasta from scratch. And we learned about ancient Egypt, Amara added. Zara hung back, helping Marcus carry their overnight bags.
Maya watched them together, her daughter and her ex-husband, working in quiet coordination.
They'd built something real. Not what she'd once hoped for, but something valuable nonetheless. Thank you for this weekend, Maya said to Marcus. Thank you for them, for raising such incredible humans, for giving me the chance to know them. You earned it. We both know I didn't, not initially. But I'm grateful you let me try to earn it after. Maya drove home with her daughters, listening to them chatter about their weekend. At a stoplight, she glanced in the rearview mirror and saw 3 beautiful faces, confident, loved, secure. She thought about the woman she'd been at that country club wedding 7 years ago, stepping out of a Rolls Royce to reclaim her story. She'd wanted to show Marcus what he'd lost, but she'd actually shown herself, and the world, what was possible when you refused to stay broken. The light turned green. Maya pressed the accelerator, driving toward home, toward the future she'd built with her own hands and her own determination. Because that was the real story. Not revenge, not proving anyone wrong, but the transformative power of refusing to let someone else's rejection define your worth. Marcus Richmond had thrown her away, expecting her to disappear into insignificance. Instead, Maya Johnson had become inevitable, a force of nature, a testament to resilience, a living example that the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's becoming so undeniably yourself that the person who discarded you finally understands what they lost, while you've already moved so far beyond them that their realization no longer matters. And on quiet nights, when Maya tucked her daughters into bed in the house she built, in the life she created, surrounded by the love she earned, she understood the deepest truth of all. Marcus Richmond's greatest failure wasn't abandoning her. It was giving her the motivation to discover she never needed him in the first place.